Hello and welcome back to the channel. Just over a year ago, the latest edition of Microsoft Flight Simulator was released, and just a few months ago, it finally landed on Xbox Series S and Series X. Now this was great news for people like me who love flight sim but don't have thousands and thousands of dollars to spend on building a high-end PC just to be able to run the game. It also means that it's opened up flight sim to a whole new audience, either a casual gamer or someone who's more interested in sports, driving or shooters, for example, might now be looking at flight sim and thinking, is it worth getting? And in today's video, I hope to answer that question. The first question that people are likely going to have is, what is there to do? So of course you can just load the world map and you can fly around wherever you want, whenever you want, in whatever weather conditions you want. But there's also some structure to the game. So if you want to have an intro on how to fly a plane, how to take off, how to land, even just what the instruments are within a plane, Microsoft have come up with some really easy and simple tutorials to use. Now obviously there's a lot of information to cover, but Microsoft have done a great job of making them quick and easy and making sure that they're not monotonous. So even if you have a passing interest in aircraft or flying, these might actually be really useful for you. And of course, they're going to set you up to be able to fly within the game. Once you've done that, you can go off and do some discovery flights where Microsoft have already picked a plane, a destination, a time of day, and they've even put some music there for you just to chillax, fly around and enjoy the graphics, because that's probably the best part about this game is it just looks stunning. So they've made sure that you can just jump in and anyone can experience what the game is capable of without really having to know what to do or where to find it. Moving on from there, if you want to test your navigation skills, you can do bush trips, you can do landing challenges if you want, or as I say, you can just fly wherever and whenever you want. As far as difficulty goes, you can really customize the game to whatever you want it to be. So if you want to have all the assists on, you basically want the plane to fly itself and you just want to be a passenger, you can do that. If there are certain areas you're not sure of or you don't really know how to control, you can have the computer do that for you and you can take care of the rest. Then, as you get more proficient, you can back the assists off and do just about everything yourself. If you don't want any help whatsoever, you can turn all the assists off and it's all on you. So really the learning curve and the immersion is all on you, depending on how much you want to have to control, how much you want to learn. As far as actually flying and controlling the game goes, Microsoft have done a fantastic job of allowing just the standard Xbox controller to be able to control everything. So you don't have to go out and spend hundreds of dollars on a joystick or a quad throttle and yoke combination, whatever you want. You can just play with the Xbox controller. Now, as you may be able to appreciate, there are a ton of controls that you need to be able to access in this game, which does mean you'll be pressing a ton of button combos and it can get quite tricky. However, if you don't want to worry about all those advanced systems, you can just have the computer take care of some of it. You can use the controller and start flying. You can also plug in a mouse and keyboard, which means that you can bind a lot of the more advanced controls to a keyboard. You can use the mouse to look around, you can use it to click buttons within the cabin, and that's something that I would highly recommend. Even if you are going to use an Xbox controller to control the plane, at least plug in a mouse and keyboard. You can use a wireless one, for example. It's just going to allow you to have a lot more control and access to advanced systems, which are going to make the game more entertaining for you. If you decide you get into it, you can go off and you can buy something like the Thrustmaster T-Flight HOTAS, which is a joystick and throttle combination, and they're really not that expensive. You can get them for under 150 Aussie dollars. Then if you decide you want to go full crazy, you can go get quad throttle and yoke combinations. Turtle Beach are coming out with one shortly. So really the sky's the limit once you decide that I really like this game and I want to have as much control and as much immersion as possible. However, you can also just use the controller that came with your Xbox. The biggest question some people might have is how much time do you have to spend playing the game? Now you might be used to playing something like FIFA, where really you only need 15 minutes to jump in, have a game, and away you go. Simple. And this is probably the biggest barrier to Microsoft Flight Sim. So I know for myself, I need to allow at least say 45 minutes to an hour to have a flight. By the time I do my flight plan, select my airplane, select where I want to fly, the time of day, because that's all completely customizable. You can do live weather and live time. or you can set it to specifically what you want. Potentially there's a location that you just love the look of at sunrise or sunset, and you just keep dialing that in and fly around. Whatever it is you want to do. However, it all takes time. Plus, there's going to be time just learning how to fly, especially early on, just getting used to how an airplane reacts or where all the controls are and all that sort of thing. It is going to take a little bit of an investment from you time-wise. And I can appreciate that some people just simply don't have that time or don't want to devote it to a game that potentially they're not really going to get that involved in. However, if you can invest that time, the game just opens itself up more and more as you go along. So if you're someone who does have, say, an hour to spare, you can have a really enjoyable flight. If you only have 15-20 minutes, then the scenic flights are certainly going to be worth a look in, and then you can figure out whether it's actually a game that you want to invest more time in and keep it around, especially because it is available on Game Pass. So if you're someone who already has a Game Pass subscription, you can pick it up, see whether it's your jam. If it's not, get rid of it. If it is, and spend more time with it. Also, the game allows you to learn as much as you want. So if you want to learn how to actually start a plane from cold and dark, you can learn that. If you want to learn how to navigate, whether it's through visual points of reference, whether it's through instrumentation, whether you want to make flight plans, all of that is made available to you. So it's not just a matter of loading and just flying around and doing whatever. You can actually get as much out of the game as you want. If there's something that you're intrigued about, you want to learn how it works or how to do it yourself, you can do that. If you just want to fly around and fly under bridges and all that sort of stuff, you can do that too. So ultimately, is it worth buying Microsoft Flight Simulator? Well, in my opinion, yes. However, I also really love flying, I love planes and aviation, but for me, just being able to fly around the world, especially considering the current circumstances where we have to stay at home, being able just to get out, go to another country, another continent, change the weather however I want, if I want a beautiful sunset, sunrise, or if I want to see whether I can fly a plane through a storm, being able to have all that customization at my fingertips is something that I think is pretty special. It's certainly worth a look in, even if you're a casual gamer, you don't want to buy any other peripherals, you just want to use your controller, you can do all that. And I think that pretty quickly you'll figure out whether it's something that's going to stay in your rotation or whether you're going to throw it out. So let me know down in the comments below whether Microsoft Flight Simulator is something that you're looking to pick up. Are there any things that you want to know more about the game before you do so? Or are there any limiting factors for you? If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe so you don't miss any future episodes, especially more flight sim videos. I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I'll see you in the next video.